Hello, theme park enthusiasts and horror fans, and welcome back to Planet Coaster and my Welcome to Derry section of my Warner Brothers Studios park. So the main focus of this video is going to be on creating a little scene over here just to wrap up the ride. It's not going to be much at all, it's just going to have the friends that are left walking off away from the riders. But that's it, very simple. And then we're also going to try to get all the triggers set up for the different rides. But on top of that, we are going to put in some more fencing and such in this area and work on the paths a little bit. So we need some don't die fencing basically around the canal because, yeah, that is a significant drop. We're going to need it there so people don't die. I am going to leave the basic fencing here around the rides, but as far as around the pathways here, we're going to leave the fencing, but I'm going to put in grass because I wouldn't really want this area. I mean, the pad of the rides themselves, fine, but the ground around it, you would just be walking on grass to get to it. So I want that to look much more natural overall. So we're going to start there, then we'll get over to this scene and the triggers for the overall rides. So let's jump in, see how it goes. And so with that, I decided to end this episode with a bit of a tease of what is to come next here in the Welcome to Derry section. This is going to be the next ride that we install into the area. It is going to be changed somewhat from the way it is right now, and most likely it's going to be pushed back because we're going to take out some of this land here and most likely move the entire thing back here some, so we have more room here in front. So that's all to come in the next episode. The only thing I will tell you about this is going to be, if I can get it into perspective here, the Kitchener Ironworks. So that's what this ride will be in the end. How that's going to work, you're going to have to wait and see. But yeah, that's going to be for the Kitchener Ironworks. I will say there's going to be 2 rides over here. Both of them are going to be technically dark rides. One's going to be your much more traditional dark ride, which is going to go in the front here. And then at the very back of this area, we're going to have this coaster, which is also going to be a dark ride. And I did pick this specific one for very specific reasons that will become evident as we go through designing it. But for this episode, I'm really pleased with how this came out in the end. We can talk about first what I designed here at the end. This is one of the last scenes in the book before Bill tries to save his wife. And I won't spoil anything for the book of how that works and such. But this scene is basically after it has been defeated and the 4 friends that are remaining who are not in the hospital and such are returning to the Derry townhouse to have a drink. And I thought it was sort of a nice happily ever after scene for the end of our book. The townhouse, I believe, is made of sandstone in the book, so I thought that was perfectly fine to use here. So we've got that going on. I thought the little lights here will give some nice eerie light to the situation, and I just wanted to take the exact character models I had down in the area by the Ferris wheel to ensure that they were the same here when it actually comes up to the end scene, because that scene happens pretty much directly following the other one, so wanted to make sure it was accurate. After that then, I did want to add in this balloon here and the clown laughter that I put into a speaker hidden in the wall here, or it's crazy laughter. We don't really have clown laughter in the game, but I wanted to put that in as sort of a hint or something that maybe it's not all over. Maybe this isn't happily ever after. But I didn't want to make it too dark of an ending, so I just left it at that. After that point, we went through the entire ride and we put in the different, well, the doors first of all, and then the triggers for everything. Most of the doors were fairly straightforward to get the triggers on. And if you noticed, I did sort of ride the ride a little bit to try to get those triggers right at first. You will, as I said, at the very end of the series, get a full perspective on ride of the entire, really of the entire area. We're going to give some decent on rides, I hope. This also allowed me to get the Wild Mouse to finish its testing, so it's now open along with the rest of the rides. And so really all that's left in this area now is to put in the entrance and exit for the ride, and to go ahead and build the buildings. And I'll probably do both of those things at the end of the series. First of all, I want to build these last 2 rides that we're going to have in the section, get them set up, because they also are going to be sort of black boxes to a point. Well, this one might not be as much of a black box, but the other one and around both of them is going to be a black box. So we'll get that put into place, and then we'll go ahead and start building the buildings in. The biggest difficulties I had here as far as trigger sequences was this one I was really worried was going to be quite complicated, but it really wasn't. This one worked out quite well, quite quickly. The one that actually challenged me the most was the werewolf over here, because I wanted the howl to happen pretty much as soon as you're about to hit the drop, and then timing that up with the audio of the wolf howl really became a little bit problematic, but I was able to get it timed in the end, so that's why I was going back and forth with. I had to put the riders through to make sure that I got the timing of that perfect. Right now it's a bit unrealistic because the boats are launching directly one after the other, and while they might do that at the very beginning when the ride starts up, after a little bit of time what's going to happen is that there's going to be the unload phase here and then the load of the new people, so the boats are going to get spaced out some. I wish I could put a few more boats into the ride than I can, because realistically this ride would need about 20 boats or so, but the game doesn't allow me that. I think I have the most right now, which is 9. Yeah, 9. As you can see, I can't put any more on there. I wish I could, because I think that we're going to need that for this ride. But overall, the triggers work exactly as I wanted. I did add in some last minute audio for the guy falling here, and for the crazy laughter over there as well. And I also added in some lighting for the balloon over there and some lighting for the tub over here, just to make those scenes stand out that little bit more. I'm pleased with the way it came out. I think it's going to work really well, and I'm excited to see how it rides with actual guests in the park, because to me, I think that's going to be important. I don't even want to have an on ride of it when it first opens. I want time for people to get on all these other rides, so that way when we're in this section here, we hear the different sounds of the Canal Days Festival going on. We hear people's screams on the Wild Mouse. We hear people on the Loop-de-Loop or on the zipper over here, and so we have those different sounds going on. I would want it where, if this was realistic, to have the sounds of carnival games, if I could have wedged some in here somewhere, and I would have loved to have the smells of the different cooking foods coming through. So those are all things that would be great to have here, and I'm sort of thinking of as I was creating it. Now, as I said, next episode, this is what we're working on, because I need the back of the area set up first. Because for one, we're going to have to put a pathway to get riders from this ride back over to our main area with a dark ride in front of it. And that dark ride is going to see this ride to a point, so it is going to have to be able to work around this. So having to juggle that a little bit, it's going to be great, I think, in the end. I'm really looking forward to how that's going to come out. And really, this ride I knew was in the game, and there was no reason to change it. It's actually pretty much exactly as I would have wanted it. If I was building this, the only thing I would have done is I might not have had it cross paths the way it does. And I actually think that crossing paths makes it a little bit better. I can do that without it being really a problem for the ride overall and the theme that I want to go with for it. So that's not going to be an issue at all. The biggest part to me was having these two areas right here, because they're going to play into the theming of the ride, and actually this scaffolding over here is not going to be an issue for the way I want this ride. It's actually going to work out perfectly fine, I think. But as I said, you will see that in the future. Hopefully you like the ride that I did here with the log ride, because this ride, what I'm calling the It ride, is what the entire area was based on. It was the idea I had, and I am so pleased with the way that it has come to life. So if you enjoyed it, please go ahead and click that like button, and if you've not already, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, so that you're aware when I produce new videos in the future. Thank you. I hope to see you back for more Planet Coaster, and for hopefully the completion of my Welcome to Derry area of my Warner Brothers Studios park.